Hey everyone, I'm your host Ruth Uchenna from Sonia Sotomayor Middle School in Adelphi. And on behalf of Roarcast Podcast Club, I would like to give a very warm welcome to our listeners and viewers. It's hard to believe we're already at our sixth and final episode of the school year. Since we launched Roarcast back in February, we've had a chance to celebrate students' achievements, talk about important issues in our schools, community, and hear some amazing guests. Today's episode is especially exciting because it's our first video podcast.
Yay.
And for this special season finale, we'll welcome back someone who was also our very first guest on Roarcast, our principal, Dr. Alicea.
Very well welcome.
Thank you so much. So it's thank you so much for having me back. It's truly an honor. Yes, I was the first one, but seeing and listening to all the work you have done, listening to your voices, it has inspired me to continue working. But not only me, but also I am so proud of all of you. I share this with my superintendent, I share this with my instructional director, with other teachers, with my family members, and they are truly impressed with the work that you are doing. So congratulations, sir.
Thank you very much, Dr. Alicea. Before we start, thank you to everyone who listened, participated, and supported Roarcast Podcast during its first season. Now, let's start our show. Before we talk about next year, let's take a moment to look back. This school year has been full of learning, growth, challenges, and accomplishments, and memorable moments from students and staff alike.
Yeah, so thinking about my year normally starts during the summer, before everybody is in the building. So I look at different things, making sure the building is ready, from making sure we have the materials, the staff, the teachers, making sure the enrollments, making sure the courses are there. So we are ready to open the doors. And that is very exciting because you don't know how the new year is going to start. So you have to be ready. You have to think about everything. So when you open the doors for the first day, for those new students and for those students that are coming back to the 7th and 8th grade, you need to make sure that you have everything set for them to be successful. So you start with communicating with parents, communicating with the community as well. So that is very exciting. This year, when we open in 2025, 2026, we have a lot of new things. For example, Title I school. With Title I, there are a lot of things that we're able to do, right? To buy new materials, probably to plan like excursions or have professional development for the teachers, buy materials. Those are little things that help us to become better and to support everybody, but especially the students, because at the end of the day, we want to make sure that you are successful. One of the first things I was very happy about was to get free lunch for everybody.
Yeah.
That is incredible because there's an application that is called Free and Reduced Lunch, but that depends on your income. But just to receive that letter that your school qualified for free meals for everybody, for me, that was like, wow, our children deserve free food, right? Free food, breakfast, lunch, etc. So that was very big for me because it's a piece of equality and justice for children.
Regarding free lunch, by the way, hello everybody, I'm Mr. Sala. I must take this opportunity to mention something that we achieved as a team. If I was so inspired to see how your team made sure that the students have their lunch even when we were in virtual classes, when there was snow, and I was not on the field making the difference, but I saw emails going on informing teachers and students where to get the lunches from. Could you tell us a little bit about how you achieved that?
Yes. So, we work in collaboration with the county to ensure that we are able to open the building to some extent, even though the building, it was a winter storm with snow, right? And we were not able, because of safety, to bring the children back. But there were some staff members that were here working every day to ensure that they were cleaning the facilities from building services from our cafeteria workers. So they were here providing the food and ensuring that every child had their meal. And then we send communications to the parents. So I want to acknowledge the great effort of those that work while others were at home, right, with their pajamas and taking care. We were here with our boots on and cleaning our path and making sure that we continue with the elite-based services for our children. With that said, also, for a moment, we also tried to work with the online day. So it took a lot of effort, but that's something that we started working in collaboration with the county to ensure that our children have the necessary devices or equipment for them to continue work at home. So this is something for sure we will continue to look at and strengthen to ensure that it doesn't matter the circumstances in terms of the weather, that we can continue providing the education and instruction for our students.
Thank you, Dr. Alicea. Also, I would like to our audience to know how our school fared academically this year. Anything you would like to highlight or mention that stood out?
Academically?
Yes.
Yes. Well, for example, one of the things that we had was a math competition, and our students did amazing during math competition this school year, countywide. We achieved third place, so that is great, and all our other students were able to achieve also higher ranking within this competition. So we were able to open new opportunities as well. One of the things that we did this year was to add another Spanish course. The Spanish 1 course is we normally offer Introduction to Spanish, right, at middle school, but now we have Spanish 1 course. So this is a credit that they could take back to high school. So when they go to high school, they basically, they are a few steps, in terms of credit. So that's something very important. Also with community school services, it's important for them to do that because it's a requirement from the state and for them to graduate from high school. So a lot of our students come to school and we do a lot of activities from Beautification Day, among other things that they could participate in to ensure that, they are in the right track for their promotion, but also we're looking at all the things that you do in middle school has a purpose and you're going to take with you to high school. So you are in compliance and making sure you're finishing strong.
That is great, and also I would like to add that we teachers also had the opportunity to learn Spanish because we have a lot of non-Spanish speaking teachers, and both semesters there was free Spanish language learning opportunities for teachers, which I think benefited teachers and inspired a lot of teachers to start learning the language, which I think will help students in the long run.
No, definitely. Thank you for acknowledging that because we had to open it 2 sessions because the first one was, was packed and the teachers wanted to, so we were able to open another one. But also we opened some English courses for parents, for those parents that do not speak English, for them to learn. And our goal is to ensure that the parents also could support the children in their academics. So that has a very big impact. With that said, we also had different parent nights. And these parent nights were a little bit focused on the different academic areas. Like we have parent math night. We have science parent night because we were able to speak about the department, provide them tools, and give them some little workshops and tools so they could take back home once again so they could support the children with their academics. So that was very, very meaningful.
Great. So Ruth, what do you think? We have heard a lot of great answers, like all positive things from Dr. Alicea. Is this the time in our podcast that we put him in the hot seat?
Yes, we do have to put in the
The happy times are over. Now, Dr. Alicea better get ready for some tough questions. So if I may give our audience some context, throughout this semester, some of my students, they did their own podcast workshop where they worked on some pressing issues that they're passionate about in the school. And so a few of them have come up with some questions for you. Are you ready to...
Ready or not, here I go.
All right, so audience, stay in there. We'll soon be back with our students, the questions, and the hot seat round.
Hey viewers, welcome back. For this round, we're gonna have our hot seat with the principal, where his fellow students from Sonia Sotomayor will ask him questions.
Sure.
I would like to welcome Delmi and Kat.
Amy.
Welcome up.
Kami.
Hi, and thank you for having me here. I just wanna talk about the bathrooms. Like, what are ways you could keep bathrooms stocked with enough resources for each student when they use the bathrooms and don't have any problems in bathrooms.
All right. No, thank you so much for bringing that. And yes, it is been an ongoing issue and a concern of mine about keeping the bathrooms. Several things. I just want to bring you a little bit of a background on that. At the beginning of the year, we were short-staffed, and now we are short-staffed again in terms of building services. But nonetheless, we've been trying to make sure that the bathrooms are kept clean. During the summer, we do provide some sort of maintenance on that. I personally went into bathrooms to clean all the graffitis inside the stowaways. It is hard to monitor the bathrooms inside because we have policies in the county that adults cannot be in the children's bathroom. I know that's a very hard part. One of the things that I will recommend to the teachers, and these are conversations that we have, they should be hall passes, so we should monitor who goes into the bathroom, not to have a group of students outside at the same time, because the more students in the bathroom, the harder it is to monitor that. But also, I think it's about communication, and I think it's about bringing a sense of belonging, because we need to take care of our building collectively, right? And we need to make sure that we're holding each other accountable for keeping the building. You mentioned something about the resources that we have in the bathroom. So it is very sad that sometimes we provide the resources, like for example tissue and things like that. And unfortunately, we've seen, and because I've taken pictures and video after school, that they put all the paper inside, or they put the feminine, how do you call that? The products also inside the toilet, and that has caused clot as well. So it's about education. I started also sending messages to the homes, to the parents, because I think education happens at home too. And asking the parents, please, it's a good day to have a conversation with your children about keeping the school, making sure that you deposit inside the garbage bin, anything, the trash, right? So it is ongoing, but I think we need more education. We started a little film, like a little video, I know you see them on the TVs, also on how to keep our school clean. So we do have products, we do have the tissues, but it's the monitoring of the use of them that is a little bit more challenging. And I think collectively we need to work around that.
Hello, my name is Jason, and I'm with Yoel, Angel, Kenny, and I have a question that's about how can we get the financial education we need to manage simple things like our money, and are there any courses in PGCPS County?
Yes, I think when it comes to finance, and we want to ensure that we're supporting everybody, we're supporting our families, and that we are building a better future for ourselves. The earlier, the better. I know when you go to high school, you do have a financial literacy course, but here in the middle school, we also have JA Finance that we go on a field trip, and we spend an entire day talking about how make our investments and do, things that we do as an adult for paying our mortgage, water, and how to manage our money. But this is something that we could continue to expand. Maybe we could have like a after school program or like a club that talks about this, and have a group of students learn about how to manage their finance. And we could use this, we could do some videos, for example, and we could expand and extend the information to the entire school community in terms of giving advice on how to be more proficient. And I think also we could start working with our community to see if during the evening we could bring some people from the community to give orientation to our parents, on how to manage their finance as well as part of have a well-rounded community, or in service of our students.
Hi, and thank you for having me here. I'd like to talk about the topic about vaping and what is the school doing about it. And if we are only doing punishment, why can't we help out the students?
So when it comes to vaping, we have the Rights and Responsibility Handbook, so we need to ensure that we're following that protocol. But we recognize that this is a problem, not only in school, it's a social problem in general. So I think we need to be proactive instead of reactive. And with that said, it started with education and looking at the potential harm to the health that vaping could cause, especially at such a young age. You want to make sure that you're taking care of your body and doing that. We do have counseling and we do have mentoring. Every time that this happens, it comes along with mentoring. It's a requirement from the county. They have to take some courses. These courses are not offered in school, but they are offered in a nearby school as well. So counseling is offered. But I believe that we need to be, more proactive in terms of education and making sure that our students know and understand that they're harming their body, not only because it's not that it's you don't want to do it in the school, but in general you don't want to do it because you want to take care of who you are.
Hello, my name is Justin and I'm in 7th grade, and something I wanted to talk about today was the food that is served in our cafeteria is not always healthy. What steps do you think you can take in the future for healthier food options?
When it comes to lunches, lunches are regulated by the federal government, and there's specific menus for elementary school, for middle school, and for high school. So they actually come. However, I think it's important that just as we are having this podcast to voice our concern, it is important that we voice our concerns in terms of you feel that the food is not up to the standards that we deserve, right? So we could come out with like a little survey with a little feedback. We could create like a box, or we could create like a Google form and have it there, and see something, say something, maybe this food, it's not adequate for me, or it was not, I don't know, maybe if you see that something it's not time, or the expiration date was not properly handled, that is feedback that we need to know. We need to know, and then we need to give the information to the supervisor so we could actually, take action on that. And as well, I think it's important to voice and have your feedback as well. With that feedback comes probably, I want to see food that is more aligned to my diet, more aligned to my culture, or more aligned to my needs, or to my, medical needs as well. There's nothing wrong with that, and then we could have a conversation with the people that are in charge with the cafeteria to see that we could advocate for our children to ensure that the meals that are prepared in our school are in alignment with our expectations.
Hey, quick check. Are you actually following us on Spotify, Apple Pods, Cast, and YouTube? Hit follow or subscribe right now so you don't miss the next season. It's free and it helps us keep this too. That's the sixth and final episode of this school year of Roarcast podcast. Thank you, Dr. Alicea, Mr. Baez, and students for being here, and everyone who sent questions. On behalf of the entire Roarcast Podcast Club, I'm Ruth Uchenna. Have a safe, fun, and relaxing summer.